So goals are not meant to be set in stone. They are meant to evolve. And today we're talking about how do we refine goals so that we can have a vision for the future as we evolve. We've been going at this now for 73 days, today 74, and as we've been doing that, we are learning, we're growing, we're getting more resilient, we're getting more consistent, we're becoming more confident. So how do we go about doing that? That's what we're going to be talking about in this episode today. And I'm so excited that you're here. Welcome back to my 100-day walk to consistency and health. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. And that's right, we're on day number 74. And right now I am at the Harvest Square Preserves Land Trust that's here in North Alabama. So we're going to walk around. We're going to do something a little different with my camera. So I'm going to see if I can show you where I'm walking as I'm going about it. We may change up a little bit as people come by, but you'll get to see a little bit of this area. I thought this was a great place for us to walk. So anyway, we'll see you on the walk. Remember, consistency is your superpower. It is the thing that helps you be successful. Every day that you show up, every day you're here, you are setting an example. You are creating a new version of yourself, a more consistent, a more self-confident version of yourself, and you are moving into success. We'll see you on the walk. So yesterday, we spent some time looking back and doing some reflection. And today, we're actually looking forward. The truth is that as we grow, as we evolve, as we change, the things that we want and the places that we find ourselves can be very different. And while goals are important for our ability to plan and our ability to move forward and our ability to have some definition, some direction, and some focus, they are not meant to be all-inclusive with respect to the time. So they are meant to be changed. They are meant to be tweaked. They are meant to be evaluated. They are meant to really be kind of mileposts that we look at and adjust as we need to, as we move to into our success. And so what we're going to be talking about today is how do we go about setting ourselves up for success by looking at our goals and redefining them. Are they goals that we need? Are they goals that we need to adjust? How do we go about doing that? And then how do we set ourselves up for the best possibility of success? As you see, I am here at the Nature Preserve and just kind of walking around. This is a place right by our house, and we like to come out here sometimes. The last time we were out here, there was a lot of mosquitoes, so of course that was early in the morning, and it was, we probably came out too early. But anyway, so we're talking about how to refine our goals with a vision, and how do we change our vision for the future. Let's go ahead and we're going to turn this way. We got some folks that are walking by. You want to catch them on camera. If that becomes too much of an issue, we'll probably go back to our regular view, but I thought this would be a good one for us to take a look at. Anyway, so why is refining our goal essential to growth and to consistency? Well, number one, your goals should evolve with you. Remember, the goals are really a definition of the things that we say we want. And there are times when we will change the things that we want. They will adjust. We will adjust. We will grow. Our interests will change. And this is the way that I think we went when we got all those mosquitoes. So I think I'm going to turn around. That's all right. We'll move. We'll go as we see. And then I see some people down there, so we may adjust. So many people feel guilty about changing their goals. Like when they find themselves adjusting or tweaking, if you will, they may feel guilty because they feel like they are giving up on something that was a real, this is what I really want. And now that I've had to change, they feel bad, they feel guilty, they feel as though they are letting themselves down, as though they're giving up on those goals. But as we adjust, as we change, those things will change as well. And we want to make sure that we are doing what we can to set ourselves up for the best possibility of success. And we're going to change around here for just a minute because I see some folks, and we're going to just adjust so we can not get them in the... We're going to walk by them. So as you are growing, you will find that your desires, your wishes, your likes will change, and at different phases of your life and at different times in your day, things will change as well. Hey, looks like you caught something there.
Yeah, I got about 20 so far today.
20 so far today. How long you been out?
2 hours.
2 hours, okay. Wow. Awesome.
A lot of small ones, though.
Okay.
Been throwing a lot of them. I only got 2 on the stringer.
Okay. Catch and throw back, right?
Most of them,
All right. Thank you. But growth means gaining new abilities. It means gaining new likes. It means adjusting the things that you say are important to you. So as you do that, you will find that those are places where you now have to begin looking at the goals that you have and saying, does this goal now still suit me, or do I need to make a change for the things that I want? And I'm gonna just turn right here because I see some folks walking by, and we're gonna try not to get them in here. But growth means gaining new clarity about what truly matters to you. As you are changing, as you're moving, the clarity that you get will change, and you will find that your desires and your wishes and your likes have changed as well. And so we want to make sure that we're not so rigid that we can't make those changes. So a rigid, outdated goal can actually cause more damage. And so we don't want to do that. So we want to make sure that we're able to evaluate and do what is best for us as we are as we're moving forward. And this is a view from one of the spots here. See, there's the Highway 53 is right just on the other side of this lake. Beautiful, isn't it? Yeah. All right. So one key thought that I want you to get is that the strongest people aren't the ones who never change, but the strongest people, the ones who are successful, are the ones who are able to pivot and adjust what they do based on where they are and based on the places that they find themselves. So our goal is not going to be to have something that is so set in stone that we can't adjust, because that sets us up for failure, in fact, because we become so rigid that we don't allow ourselves to change as our life changes. And as you know, the only constant, right, the only constant is change. So if nothing else changes, that's going to change, right? So you can set something up today, and then tomorrow, hey, we have to make a pivot. So what are some processes? What are some steps that we go through as we are looking to evaluate our goals, the goals that we've set? And remember, in order to evaluate and change, what must you first have done? That's right, you first must have gone through and created those goals. You've evaluated where you are, evaluated what you want to do. And now this is a matter of just adjusting and changing, not now creating the goal. Now, in the process of adjusting and tweaking and changing, you will find that you're creating new goals. You're creating new processes. You're evaluating and doing new things in your life. But this is not the first time that you've done that. So if it is, in fact, the first time you've done that, then I recommend you go back and watch our video about setting goals, right? and then come back and watch this one, because you want to have at least gone through that process first. And then now what we're doing is we're refining, we're tweaking, we're adjusting, we're looking at the things that are working and then the things that are not working, and then we're making adjustments for that, okay? So as we go through that, so number one, reevaluate your why. So these are steps for going through the process of evaluating and refining our goals. So this is the other side of the lake. And so we came from over that way. You see, right over there is the gentleman we just talked to about fishing. And we entered the park right around that, at the edge of that building that you see. Okay. All right. So ask yourself. So we're looking at our why. Ask yourself, why did I set this goal in the first place? What was the reason? What was the purpose? And that itself will elucidate a lot of what's going on, because you set it for a reason. And if your life has changed, your desires, your circumstances, what you want has changed, then the reason for setting that goal is no longer there. And you will find that you will have to adjust the why. Okay? So why did you set it in the first place? And is that still valid? Next, you want to ask yourself, does that why, that the goal, still align with what I say I am all about? Remember we talked about the North Star statement, right? We talked about the why and writing that North Star statement. Rhythm, alignment, and structure. Does the goal that I have still align with the why and the purpose that I have come up with? The purpose that I have evaluated and said, okay, this is my goal, this is my purpose. Does this goal still align with that? Am I doing this for me or because I think I should be doing it? That's a good one. There are a lot of people that I run into that have done things, are doing things, because mom wanted it, dad wanted it, they felt guilty for something, they felt like they were forced or coerced into it, they feel like they don't have an option. And so the question is, am I doing this because this is what I want to do? And want to do, I guess a point to be made there, want to do is not necessarily that this is something, well, let me say it a little differently. There are things that you're going to do that you don't necessarily want to do, but in order to reach your goal, which you say you want, you've got to do those things. Okay? So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the things that you are currently doing that you say, you know what? I'm not going to do this forever. This is not where I want to be, but I've got to do this as a stepping stone to my next place. Okay? For example, there are people who don't like school. Right? They do not like school, but they're in school. You know why? Because in order to get where they want to go, they've got to be in school. So that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the things that are not in any way related to what you say you want to do. Where do you find yourself? Are you in that space? Okay? Because this is let's see, what trail was this? Go back. This is the Beaver Dam Trail. Okay? I didn't even look to see what the name of the trail is that we were going on. I think this is the mosquito trail too. So we'll see. If you see me start running and swatting, yeah, mosquitoes. All right. So am I doing this for me, or am I doing this because I think I have to? Then adjust the target, not the effort. Adjust the target, not the effort. Sometimes, because we feel like we have to pivot and we have to change, we sort of lose a little bit momentum, and we're like, yeah, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling bad, I'm feeling sorry for myself, and so I'm not putting in as much effort into this. And that's not where I want you to be. I want you to make sure that the effort that you were putting in for the previous goal, now that if you reset that goal, you're getting the same amount of effort. You're doing the same things, and you are setting yourself up for success because you're not changing the amount of energy. You're not changing the direction. You're not changing the focus of your energies in terms of being able to put it out. You're changing what you're putting your energies towards. Let me say it that way. Okay? I hope that makes sense. But that's really what we want to do. As you're changing your focus, as you're changing your goals, as you are growing, you're going to begin putting your energies into different things, and the energy needs to stay there. Does this goal need to be adjusted, is what we're talking about, right? If you're consistently struggling with progress that you're making, does this goal need to change? Is the timeline realistic? When we talked about setting SMART goals, and in order to set SMART goals, we have to have evaluated where we were, evaluated the time that was needed for the things that we're doing, and evaluated the resources that were needed. Is this doable? Is it realistic? Is it time bound? All those things in the SMART goal, you have to have done that. So as you're looking at the goal, the question that you want to ask is, maybe the goal is still valid, but maybe I have unrealistic expectations as to the time that it takes, or maybe unrealistic expectations as to the resources that I need, or maybe I have unrealistic expectations about the achievability of it within my current sphere, if you will, right? So as we're evaluating, we're looking at all of those things because they make a big difference in how we approach it and what changes that we have to make. And then do I need a new approach? Do I need a new approach to get there? So right now, we have laid out a plan. This is how we're going to be working. This is where we're heading. And maybe we need to readjust and think about a different way of making it to that space. And there's a beaver dam right in there. You guys see that? Right. So do I need to adjust my approach? Maybe the goal is fine. Maybe the time is fine. But maybe I need to get there in a different way. That's another thought that we have to have if we're going to be successful. And then, so here's an example. Instead of I need to lose 30 pounds in 3 months, should I say I want to build sustainable habits that improve my health over the long term, including losing weight? Okay? So is that something that I want? Is that something that I need to adjust, and something else that I need to say? Now I think I missed the trails back there somewhere, because I'm back to interesting. But you get the idea. And so our goal really is not to berate this. Our plan is not to berate the goal that we have, but to really be able to look at it objectively and see where we need to tweak it, what changes that we need to make. And then we want to set the next milestone. So what's the next milestone in my goal? What am I going to be doing? What is the next thing that I have to do? Instead of focusing only on one big end goal, as we often do, what is the next thing that I have to do to be successful? What is the next piece of data? What's the next task that I need to have? What is the next thing that I need to be putting my energies into? And I see some folks leaving here, so we're gonna go up to that spot. We didn't go there because they were over there fishing. Did you guys catch anything? Did you catch anything? No? Okay. So a lot of folks are out fishing right now. So instead of focusing only on the big goal, the end goal, let's focus on the set of smaller milestones, and that may get us to where we need to be, right? So once again, we're reevaluating, we're refining, and we're looking at our process of getting to where we need to be. If your goal is to write a book, focus on finishing one chapter as opposed to writing the whole book. Now, I'll tell you, I have a bunch of books in me, and one of my challenges is that I'm focusing on the book and not the chapters. So expect some stuff out there soon, right? So make sure that you are spending the time wisely and looking at the things that you need to do in order to be successful. So focus on small pieces. Small milestones create momentum, and they keep you motivated over the long term. Yes, they do. So that's what you want to do. You want to focus on small milestones, because that helps you to really get a sense of the goals and whether they are appropriate. Because if you're thinking about the larger, if you're thinking about the big, if you're thinking about that book you've got to write, and those 10, 12, 15 chapters, whatever they're going to be, then you can become distracted with just the length of time that it's going to take, or the task itself. So make sure that you are focusing on the things that will bring you the best benefit, the biggest bang for your buck. Okay. All right. So now, how do we stay flexible without losing focus? How do we go about doing that? All right. So we're talking about refining our goals. So number one, you want to check in with your goals monthly. Right? Like we talked about looking at we're talking about reflecting. So we're reflecting on the various things that we're doing, and we're doing that on a daily basis. But also, as we look at our goals, you want to be reflecting on those on a continual basis. You want to be looking at them and saying, hey, is this still valid for me? Now, I'm not talking about every minute, because there are times when you are in a situation where it is challenging and it seems like everything is not working the way it's supposed to, and you've set out these goals and the timeline seems to be off and the resources aren't there, and you're like, okay, maybe this is not the right goal. Maybe it is the right goal, but you want to be able to look at these, but you're not evaluating this every single day, right? Because they're going to be challenges, and when you get those challenges, guess what? Sometimes it's going to be tempting to just throw your hands up, and that's not what we want you to do. We want you to continue evaluating and doing what you need to do to be successful, right? So your goals shouldn't collect dust. They should not collect dust. They should not be written on a piece of stone and put up on your shelf and, okay, that's my goal over there. No, it should be a living, breathing, adjustable thing that has life. And when you do that, then you set yourself up for the best possibility of success. Review them regularly and make sure that they are still aligning with your vision and your why. Right? So that's one of the things. Number two, stay open to new opportunities. When you are confident, when you are confident in your abilities, when you show up, when you're consistent, then things that you don't know don't scare you. I need to do a video on that right there, all by itself. When you've done the work for mindset, when you've done the work for your mental health, when you've done the work for your emotional health, when you step into a space, things don't scare you. Well, let me back up. So not that things don't scare you, but you do things despite fear. Despite the fact that you don't have the knowledge about that thing, that's not an issue because I can find the knowledge. I know I have the skill. All I need to do is you need to point me in a direction. And when you point me in that direction, I begin learning and I'm good. And so one of the things that happens is when you are in that space, when you're in that mindset, there are opportunities that come that other people would not even think about entertaining. But because of who you are, because of the new person that you've created, because of the confidence that you have, that opportunity is an opportunity for you. Before it would have come and it would have gone, and you would not think about it. But now you're like, okay, I got this. I don't know that, but I can learn it. And those opportunities make the world so much richer and so much more pleasurable and so brighter, so much brighter for you because you're taking advantage of those opportunities, right? So sometimes an unexpected thing happens. And because you are ready, because you showed up, because you're confident, you're like, okay, come on with it. I got you. I got this. I can take care of this. I can do this. And that all has to do with evaluating where we are and looking at our goals, looking at our tasks. Because there are things that will show up that weren't originally part of your plan, but because they now are aligned with and they now give direction and now they give focus and they give energy, you're like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Okay? So opportunities. And then keep the end vision clear, even if the path changes. So the end vision has to be clear. That needs to be continually refined and defined. So even as you are changing the path to get there, you want to make sure that the vision continues to be clear. Because once the vision is clear, then the path doesn't really matter. Oh, wow. So this is another one. If your vision is clear, my path to get there doesn't matter. So, and this is a simplified version of this. When I'm in the office and I'm teaching about diabetes and I'm talking to a patient, or even when I'm doing with one of my clients or someone I meet, I tell them, I don't really care how we control your blood sugar. That's not my goal. My goal is to figure out what is the best way for you in your current life situation. See, if you say to me, I'm going to go salsa dancing, and I realize that salsa dancing controls my blood sugar, I say, come on, let's go. If you say, man, every time I stand on my head, my blood sugar gets better, let's stand on our head. Right? So the path to the goal is not as important. Okay? So don't put your energies into the path and stressing about the path. We want to keep our vision in mind. Now, let me jump back to one of our previous episodes, and there sometimes seems to be a dichotomy between the path, right, the journey, and the end goal. And so sometimes we'll hear people say, don't worry about where you're going, right? The path, the journey is what's important. And then you hear people say, like I just said, don't worry about the path, worry about the vision. And those are not mutually exclusive. The idea is that sometimes we could be at one extreme or another. Sometimes we're so focused that we haven't gotten there that we miss the journey. We miss the richness. We miss the blessings. We miss the education. We miss the expansion that we get from the journey because we're so focused on not being where we need to be yet. There are other times where we get so bogged down in the details of this thing not working right here and that thing not working right there that we miss the fact that what we're doing is moving us towards our destination. And ultimately, that's our goal. So there has to be balance between those two ideas, right? Enjoying the journey, learning from the journey, becoming richer from the journey, and also keeping an eye on the vision that gives us the focus, gives us the direction, and gives us the energy to accomplish what we need. Okay? All right, so keep an eye on that. So your destination might stay the same, but the route that you get there, whatever. As long as I get there, come on. I'm good. So that is how we go about looking at refining and taking care of our, looking at the goals and making sure that we are not allowing them to collect dust. Right, we want to always be in the process of evaluating and be in the process of making these relevant to where we are at this moment. So, is that good discussion? I like it. So you guys can drop in the comments your idea or your thoughts about this new this little picture that I did. Saw some folks around, so we had to pivot and make some other changes, but that's okay. That's fun. There's another trail down here. I don't think I've ever been down this way. So let's try it. But this is also one of my favorite talks, right? Because it has to do with evaluation and looking back or looking forward, right? So yesterday we looked back. Today we're looking forward. And what do we do? How do we set ourselves up for the best possibility of success? Well, you know, we can't ever have a conversation and end without us having a challenge. So go ahead and grab your journal, grab your pad. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot back here, but that's okay. And we're going to start writing. So here's our challenge. So what we're doing is we're refining our vision and goals for our plan, for our journeys, for what we're on, so what we want to do. So number one, write down one goal you set at the start of this journey. So we are 74 days in. What was one goal that you had at the beginning? Write that down. And I want you to really understand what the goal was, right? If it was vague, let's refine it right now. What was the goal? Does it align with your vision? Because we talked about writing our North Star statement. Does it still align with your vision? That goal that you had. And if it does, why does it align? And if it doesn't, why does it not align? Okay? Number two, refine or adjust that goal to fit where you are right now. You've grown, you've changed. You've had some amazing things happen over the last 74 days. The person that you are right now, does the goal that you have still align with who you currently have morphed into? Because you've changed. If it has, consistently, then go ahead and write that down. Yeah, this is still aligning with me. If it has not, then what has changed? What has become different? Write that down. And I don't just want these to be statements that you're putting on the paper. I want you to really spend some time looking at these, talking through these. What is different for me now? And then what needs to be tweaked? What do I need to do? Do I need to tweak is it not specific enough? Was it not measurable enough? Did I not have enough data to evaluate it? Is it not applicable? Right? Is it not relevant? Is it not time bound? Do I need to change the time for it? Do I need to change the approach? What do I need to do? And then over the next 10 days, what's one step that you can take towards your goal right now? What's one step that you can do? What can you start doing? All right, because 10 days is a long time. What can I do? What can I do? What can I set myself up to do that will help me along the way to that goal? So refining our vision is just as important as it is to, and our goals is just as important as it is to set those in the first place, to evaluate them, to create them. But looking back at them allows us to breathe, allows them to breathe, allows them to be alive. And as we change, they will change as well. Hey, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. I'm so glad that you joined me for another episode of a 100-day walk to consistency. Glad that you're able to join me. Remember, consistency is our key. It is a superpower. You want to make sure that you are being consistent. Every day you show up, you are building a better version of yourself. You are adding another piece to the puzzle to be more resilient, to be more self-confident, to be much more equipped to be successful. Thank you for joining me. Tomorrow we're on day number 75, and we're coming back. So I'll see you on the walk.